You started? Oh,
Yeah,
all right.
started.
Yeah, welcome everyone. We're back with our regular sessions of AI is fun, which we have been running for I think 2 years. And today is the first session for our 2025 series. So let me share my screen real quick. Be joining me, I'm Greg. My partner here in speaking today is Ian, and Noel will be joining us. I think later today. He's a little bit busy right now, but yeah. Wait, let me try to share my individual window instead. I think my bar is blocking the PowerPoint. Give me a second.
We were able to see your slides well, Greg.
Oh yeah. No, it's just that my what you call it, the bar, the bottom is blocking the bottom of the slides.
Ah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What is? Oh, okay. Here it is. Yeah. So this usually happens every 2 Wednesdays, starting from today. So I'm happy you guys are joining me. For February, I was thinking that we can, do a little bit of talking on the latest and greatest in DeepSeek, if you haven't heard, which is the latest in the chat-based Gen AI sort of tools. So you think Gemini, Copilot, ChatGPT, right? So what makes DeepSeek very special? We're gonna check on that in a little bit. But for now, oh yeah, just a little fun fact. I made that the whole title screen in Copilot, which despite what I've been talking about over the last year on AI art not being very good to use and people hating on it, it's pretty good when you're just using it for something that people I guess gonna look at for half a minute. So highly recommend it. See, I just prompted, create me this image. I want to use it for an AI based session. Make a bunch of blank space on the side. Pop me out of this. Pretty good. And so I do want to share a little bit of a recap what we did last year. For those of us who are, kind of new and joining us for today, we do have a YouTube channel which we upload all of this into. In 2024, some of the stuff we've been touching on is we talk a little bit on AI certification from Microsoft. This one called the AI 900, which is one of those basic ones you can have out there. You see how training is done using Microsoft's AI solutions in Azure, most prominently. We talk about how some of their tools are used, AI vision, AI speech, and translation services, Internet of Things, all that stuff. And we touched on how do you navigate that, examinations, what sort of resources we can add onto that, right? And we also talk about AI in the arts. I was like crapping on using AI to approach arts mainly because we talked about how deepfakes, people are stealing voices, feeding other people's artworks into their LLMs, which is a bunch of you know potential lawsuits, right? Because it's an infringement on intellectual rights. But of course, that is the ugly. The good is they are also using for de-aging, resurrecting actors. A lot of good stuff you'll see in Hollywood, actually. And for our last session we had back in 2024, I had a guest speaker, which is my friend, he was an upcoming graduate from medical school, right? We talked about how AI is actually pretty darn accurate when it comes to diagnosis for you and I, who are the common person not really knowing these specific terms in medicine, right? So I had it tested, what does my friend Forrest, what does Forrest know when it comes to this and that diagnosis? And I tested it against a Copilot, for example, and it popped up pretty much the same things. Right? Very impressive. And we also see that how the latest in actually AI imaging technology in medicine stems from this tech they use to differentiate bread in bakeries. Very ground leaping stuff, very groundbreaking stuff, right? Of course, we also talk a bit about AI, how we should approach it with the youth, and AI in education. Maybe if you know about Kanmigo, which is a Khan Academy tool, AI in translation, we did a little bit on, and many more. If you're interested in checking out that, we do have a YouTube channel which I will be plugging in at the end. But for now, yeah, this is our agenda for today. We do have an AI kickoff with Noel, but I'm not sure if it's in yet. Not yet. I'll leave that for when it comes back. That which will start with the latest and greatest AI with my partner Ian, and we'll transition into how do we get here today? How do we get to DeepSeek, right? How was AI yesterday compared to how it is today? And of course, that's how we will segue into what DeepSeek is. I will have a bunch of demos comparing the different tools and how people have seen the pros in DeepSeek, a lot of pros actually, and some of the cons too. And people are also talking about running DeepSeek locally. So what does that mean, right? How do you do that? So a bunch of stuff we have planned for today. I don't know if we'll cover all of it, but we'll see how far we'll get by the end. And yeah, for the first thing, Ian. So he will be sharing a little bit on a bunch of these articles we found, which is of course dated within the month, really. So
Hmm.
Ian, are you there? Hey, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So this first article, I saw a little bit on it. What's it about?
So the EU wants to put guidelines for
Mm-hmm.
certain police to use AI more appropriately.
But that's the thing, right? It's like what have they been using AI for?
Um, some employers have been using it to track their employees' emotions.
That's wow, that's some Black Mirror stuff, man. Wow. Yeah. I mean, I've kind of seen that. Like people also use it, I think, in university, like entrance exams nowadays, like to do background checks on you. I don't know how accurate that is. But is that, do you
Yeah,
think that's the sort of thing even the police is using for it?
I'm
Because I've
sure
got
that because it does say that the police has used it
yeah, because
before to check your background and to check your social welfare.
yeah, because
So
I saw a little bit of a snippet. So this is actually being put into place in EU, right? And I think we know that EU has one of the toughest laws in this sort of like uh data security, privacy security, and all that, right? It's like even when I was doing a little bit of study on web development, and when they were like teaching us on how to put fonts in your CSS sheets, like don't put uh don't put Google fonts because the EU actually outlawed them because when you use Google fonts, Google actually takes a bunch of your data or something like that, which
I
is wow, very
see.
strict. Yeah, but
Hmm.
wow, yeah, but they only say that it'll only be applicable on August 2nd, huh?
Yeah, I think it takes time to finalize an act so drastic because they say that once these rules are enforced, companies can receive fines ranging to 1.5 to 7% of their total global revenue.
Wow, that is, yeah. Because yeah, I am kind of sick of seeing like sometimes companies just like get away with stuff. It's just like a slap on the wrist. It's like a business cost to breaking the law. But
Yeah.
yeah. Well, looking forward to this. If it actually, as I said in some of my past sessions, it's like in AI space, there's really not much groundwork done yet in terms of law. So, good that they're propping something up. And for this
Quite
next one,
hard to it's
yeah, I
quite
mean,
hard to
there's no precedent, right? It's like they're not sure what's like appropriate, what's not appropriate, you know?
mm,
Yeah. So I think we can hop on to this next one. This one is a little bit of a bizarre title. It's a kill anyone who fits the following description. What's that
basically
about?
your weapons can have AI now.
Huh.
Your guns can have AI now.
So I guess it's for like
And
their targeting systems or whatever.
yeah, so Google's employees revolted because they were afraid that they were making weapons so that let's say a terrorist has an AI weapon and they say, "Oh, kill anyone that matches a description I give you."
Wow, that is. Oh, with like a description, it's like if they're like wearing sort of like
It's
clothes or like their hair is like blonde.
yeah, so it's like anyone with black hair kill them, and then only the
Wow.
ones with black hair die.
I can't believe they implemented racial profiling into weapons.
I mean, I can't believe they have racial profiling in AI.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, I saw this thing. It's like I guess some time ago Google made this sort of a statement that they won't be using their technology in, well, weapons, right? But they walked back on it. What?
Or because
But
their employees revolted.
yeah, but I guess it's like, because at the end of the day, I guess it's business, right? And I suppose using them in weapons makes good business with the government. I don't know what's going on in, like, within the full picture, but I don't know if this will be setting a good precedent in the
Probably
future.
selling weapons, and that's why.
Yeah, yeah. I saw a little bit more on this article, and it says that maybe they'll be going deep with like government contracts, right? They'll be having a greater hold in the government if they're making stuff like this. So I don't know. But the last thing, we do have 12 famous AI disasters. This one I'm gonna share the actual article, which I thought it would be pretty neat that we can see where it gone wrong and learn from these mistakes. Give me a second.
Some of these are very stupid.
Yeah, like the first one was for, like, with McDonald's or something. Yeah, this one. Like McDonald's was apparently using AI for their drive-through. Huh. But that's the thing, right? So the whole thing is that they were working with IBM to turn AI into like the drive-through cashiers. So they're taking orders through that way. But that's also the thing. Even with, I think, ChatGPT right now, sometimes they still get the speech wrong. It's like they can't they don't really understand what you're talking about. And this one was really worse. You kept adding like 260 chicken nuggets.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm wondering, like, is it so hard to get one person to listen for and tell it back to the people thinking that you need an AI to do it for you?
Yeah, well, to be fair, right? I think even human cashiers still get it wrong these days. But I see sometimes the McDonald's out there, they're using the screens, the touch screens. I think that's like a good use of compromise in the meantime.
Yeah,
How about
I don't
this
know.
one?
I just don't
Uh-huh.
understand people like need AI for some very simple jobs that require hearing.
Yeah, sometimes they overdo it. I agree because man, yeah, sometimes you really don't need AI. It's like something so simple, right? It's like, in a matter of fact, adding an AI tool is like adding an extra middleman to it, to whole process. So it's like, yeah. And oh, let me admit some more. Okay. And how about this one, Ian? This one on Grok AI, vandalism. But this one I feel like we've seen a lot, huh?
AI falsely accusing people.
Yeah, this is just hallucination, isn't it?
I think AI has a very known reputation for hallucinating a lot of events.
Yeah, which is well, that's what I found with AI tools, especially in like the chat-based AI tools, even Copilot, ChatGPT sometimes, is that they have this sort of positivity bias. So like when you say it's like, oh, I'm looking for this sort of event, even if that event doesn't exist, it still finds something for you, and you like believe, oh yeah, this event is like this and like that. It's like, in a matter of fact, that event doesn't exist. Have you had that happen?
I've not tested AI enough to see it happen yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if it did happen.
It's like last time I was seeing if there's a sequel to John Wick the movie. It's like John Wick 5. It's like I'm putting in Google, and Google gives me a whole thing. It's like, oh yeah, John Wick 5, this and that and that, and then in reality that movie doesn't exist, man. So it's like, oh yeah, they have this sort of like positivity, like positive bias. It's like they are more inclined to believe that, oh yeah, this is a thing, we have to find it for you. They don't really consider it, or maybe it's like it's not a thing, you know. So
Yeah.
yeah. This one, yeah, this is also another thing. If I think we talked about this before with like safeguards, right? Because it's like that's why you don't use AI to to be abusing it for crime. For example, this one they were using it to cut their workers' tips or fire workers who complain for sexual harassment. It's terrible. Yeah. Or this one, chatbot lies, another thing of hallucinations, very common. AI generated writers. Actually, I feel like this has been going on for a while though. Have you seen any of this sort of stuff, Ian?
AI writers. I've
Mm.
I've seen the software, but I've not seen it actually be put to use.
I've seen this experiment done before in Reddit because some of these news websites actually comb stuff off of Reddit. So it's like, oh, the latest news. It's like they take the post and then they put in a whole AI slop into an article. So, they'll be the top of the game, right? So the second the thing gets posted, it's like article pops out, right? So they've been testing it with just like straight up the false news, like, oh, which president got selected, or it's like what video game's coming out. And so they just write this whole AI section on this, this news that of course doesn't exist, and that's how they call it out. Oh, this news website is using AI generated slop.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is, people are scared that roles, jobs related to copywriting, something like this is getting out of hand, getting replaced with AI, right? But
Yeah.
from this, I don't know. Rejecting applicants due to age, yeah, this is the thing with bias, of
AI has
course.
ageism as well now.
Yeah, which I kind of get it from a logical standpoint, but from a social standpoint, of course, not very nice to say. Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah,
More
hallucinations.
hallucinations.
We've seen this. We've seen this. Okay, what's with this one? Uh-huh.
I
Uh-huh.
think it's hard to predict a lot of sicknesses when a lot of them have the same symptoms.
Yeah, yeah. Well, of
Because
course, yeah.
COVID now is considered like a flu.
Right. Yeah, yeah. I mean, stuff like the Black Plague last time is like because we already have like all this sort of like preventions, all these like vaccines or whatever, right? It's like
I
that's why we don't have
think
them anymore.
I
But
think
it's
you
like,
know like the infamous medical site WebMD. Like
yeah,
you
yeah.
put
It's
in your
like
symptoms and they'll give you the worst case scenario 95%
so
of the time.
yeah, but that's the thing, right? They're just putting it under a blanket statement. So we
Yeah.
can't say for sure that, if you're sneezing, you're having cancer, for
Yeah.
example. This one in the algorithms, that's kind of the same thing with the bias. So I can see that, yeah. Which I still think that hiring shouldn't be left with AI, because I see a lot of tips right now saying that, oh, people who are coming into the workforce, you should, have your resume edited so that these buzzwords will pop out. And when the AI, scrolls through it, it's like, oh, they pick up on these buzzwords and your resume goes into the next stage. It's like, that's kind of crap.
And bosses are so lazy, they can't just go through documents. Need
Yeah. Like I get
AI
that,
to do it for you.
yeah, it's like I get if you have like hundreds of applicants coming in, but I don't know if going through buzzwords is the way to go. But I feel like there is a better way in using AI to filter out applicants, but I'm not in that field, so I can't say for sure how they are doing it.
I think it's already bad enough that when you do the job, like send a, I would like ask for an interview and they reject you, they don't even tell you the reasoning, and now you're gonna,
Yeah, yeah,
and now
I've had
you
that
learn
experience
that,
before.
and now you learn that AI was going through your resume instead of an actual person.
Yeah, and you don't have enough buzzwords apparently, which is
Yeah,
this is like the next level prompt engineering, like having the right words in your resume.
yeah.
Okay, there's also another thing of the bias, right? Healthcare algorithm fail to flag black patients.
From ageism to racism.
Racism, yeah. Well, you know what they say, these AI tools are actually using data that are reflective of, what is out there into the internet, right? And if the internet has this sort of biases, naturally you're
Yeah.
gonna see it in your AI systems.
The
It's
internet
like,
sadly has some vile things.
yeah, dataset trained Microsoft chatbot, racist tweets, same thing, man, same thing.
Yep.
Yeah. So this recruitment tool, same thing with bias. We always hear this. Yeah, that's about it. But that's the thing, right? That's why especially when you're learning with the Microsoft certification, for example, one thing that they do point out is that you do have to filter out your data when you're using it to train your AI, right? So making sure what sort of biases are there. You see an abnormal amount of like these sort of data sets, right? You just gotta like make sure that when you're using them to train, you're gonna have to see these sort of biases come out and adjust accordingly so it doesn't you know, yeah. Okay, let me go back. Yeah, thanks, Ian, for chipping in. But I've got a bunch of stuff on DeepSeek coming up, and let me come back to the presentation. Oh wait, that's the wrong screen. Give me a second. Okay, share this one, share this one, share that one. Okay. Yeah, thanks, Ian. And before we delve into DeepSeek, I kind of want to share and how we got here, right? From all the way back with ChatGPT 2022, end of 2022, the first iteration of chat-based Gen AI, right? Available to the public. I remember when it first came out, it was very limited. I don't know if you guys remember, but the data that they had back in the first editions of ChatGPT, they were limited by history, right? So past a certain date, they wouldn't have any sort of information on that, right? So back in the end of 2022, I think that's around the time. No, we started the AI is fun around 2023. So when this popped up, we did a bunch of sharing on it, and so yeah, people were using it for travel planning, coding. Though back then coding with AI was still a little bit janky, right? Way better how it is today, and within 5 days, it adopted 1 million users, right? Very big thing, but well, you wouldn't expect how AI was used for more advanced processes, right? For example, image generation, right? I saw this user who was reflecting on how it was back in 2022 when these tools first came out. This was using Stable Diffusion, by the way. It's not using ChatGPT. I don't think they had image generation back then. So the prompt was a human hand that actually looks like a hand. So they want something realistic with 5 fingers, of course, because they know these AI tools like to hallucinate the amount of fingers that people have, and they want it in a photo, right? And you can definitely see the amount of errors popping out in this thing. I like the first one, 6 fingers, 7 fingers, some fingers are merging. So they kind of have that realistic touch, but they don't really know. A hand kind of looks like this, but they don't really know what's going on, right? But fast forward today, something I did just last week, actually. The source is me and Copilot. I put in the exact same prompt, right? Human hand actually looks like a hand with 5 fingers photo, right? It's not as realistic. It's got like a little bit of like a 3D modeling thing going on, but it's got the 5 hands thing going, right? And it's got the details, right? Right, the fingernails. It's not like merging together. It's got 5 fingers. So we've gone leaps and bounds from where we were back in 2022. But going ahead of image generation using AI, we have video generation. I don't know if you've seen this one, Ian. This was like the video that they were using to like crap on AI being used in video generation back in 2023. It's like, oh, somebody was using AI to generate this video. It's kind of cursed.
This is the worst AI is going to be. Keep that in mind. It,
Yeah.
it it can only go up from here.
Yeah, to imagine, yeah, yeah, to imagine this was back in 2023, right? And that was not very long ago. That's like a year-ish ago, right? And they're when they were using using AI to do this sort of videos, yeah. It was still a bit janky, but fast forward today, of course, right? Okay, that's enough with Will Smith. But uh give me a second. Oh, there we go. Yeah. If you do Will Smith eating spaghetti today in 2025, you can even make it up to 4K. You can see how the resolution bumped up. It's kind of surprising, right? It's like 1.5 years later, this is what you can come up. Yeah, so crazy stuff. Imagine what you'll see 2 years from now, all right? It's like way better. Like we can still see some sort of errors here, right? Sometimes the something's like poking out, or like sometimes the spaghetti is like merging into each other. But it's like, you know, you can
can
own, as Ian
see
said. Uh-huh.
people saying like if you're accused of a crime, people just say, "Oh, it's just AI."
Yeah,
I never did it. AI did it.
that's kind of the fear going forward into the future, right? It's like, oh, that's not from your CCTV. You made that up, for example, right? It's like that's gonna
Yeah.
be disastrous in the future. But you know, in entertainment, it's gonna be great, I suppose. But yeah, I don't know how it's gonna be in law. That's why they gotta step it up before all these technologies come into light, right? They gotta have a legal like a foundation before people actually can do something with AI in crime. They're already doing it with scams. Who knows with video soon, right? So
I think it's already been done. It's just we haven't seen it yet.
yeah. Well, if it's been done and they are getting away with it, we wouldn't know, right? So
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. So good pop quiz. To lead off for that, which do you guys think of the following AI images are more recent? So two of these are more recent, and two of these are from 2 years ago. Any takers? Like two giraffes and two wolves here.
I think the first one and the last one is the old ones.
Yeah, because yeah, back then when they still like hallucinate on body parts, right? This giraffe's got two heads over here.
And
This
the wolf also has a four ears, looks like.
yeah, he's like growing out of his neck.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but yeah, AI has actually been doing very good nowadays in creating like this sort of realistic images, right? If I show you this, like you wouldn't even know this AI like
Generated.
made by AI generated. You would think, oh, it's a real life portrait, right? I mean, this wolf still looks kind of like animated, but this one's like, wow, it goes leaps and bounds. I see people also using like AI stock images nowadays for like actual official like movie posters, stuff used for like promotional material. So it's like people are slowly but surely, you know, accepting it. Is what I'm saying. So you know, from 2022 to today, 2025, very huge leap. You know, very exciting to see what we'll see. You know, maybe in 2026. But yeah, thank you. So you know, hopping into DeepSeek. For those of you who wasn't here earlier today, DeepSeek is the newest in the line of Gen AI chat-based tools. You know their competitors, Copilot, ChatGPT, Google Gemini, but this one's made by a Chinese startup, and it was a global buzz, right, when it came out because it actually caused U.S. stocks, tech stocks in particular, to go on a nose dip. If I'm not wrong, Nvidia, when this came out on the Monday when the markets opened, they dropped like a good 16, 17% and wiped out like hundreds of billions of their market cap, right? So it's that devastating, right? And for the reason for that is that DeepSeek, the creators, claim that AI training is actually not very expensive, right? Contrary to how you would believe when you're getting GPUs of NVIDIA, for example, very expensive process, very expensive hardware. And DeepSeek was able to do it in a fraction of the cost, right? And to add on to this, they even have their whole code base, their whole weighting system out there in the public for you to access on your GitHub, which I will be showing later. And of course, the president Donald Trump did say that it's a wake up call for U.S. companies, right? So it's bad news for capitalism, but very good news for consumers, right? People are not going to squeeze as much money for people who are trying to get into AI. For our end users, it gets cheaper and cheaper by the day, right? Which is good news. And so as I was saying, what made what was this special thing about DeepSeek, right? For one, people do report that DeepSeek's responses are much more uh, deeper. How do I say this? It's like it's much more I'm not sure how to say it, but you'll see in the demos later. It does pop out much more things, even the stuff that they don't ask for. So they do predict on the things that you might be wondering about. For example, I asked you how to cook chicken rice, and in addition to the ingredients, the steps, you'll give you precautions, maybe what sort of cutlery you should be looking into, what sort of a room temperature, for example. So you won't be asking as much follow-up questions. There are less things to go wrong, right? And apparently also it's faster than how their other competitors are, Copilot, ChatGPT. We'll be testing that in a little bit. But and of course, as I was saying, they are all open source, the code base, their weights, all that stuff is on their GitHub. You can be looking at it. You also can put it into your local machine, but that's actually much more complicated than how it actually is. So let me, there we go. And yeah, you can run it offline, but yeah, not very easy thing to do unless you have a beefy setup, as I will show later on. But you can use it, you know, to your own leisure because you can very highly customize it. So I'm gonna do a little bit of a demo. If you guys haven't seen what DeepSeek looks like, give me a second while I switch screens. Okay, here we go. Actually, let me just share my whole. Okay, there you go. This is what DeepSeek looks like, right? It's very reminiscent of how ChatGPT works out. If you when you first go in, you do have to log in. A lot of these chat-based AI tools, you do have to log in. I just logged in with my Google account, and very reminiscent to ChatGPT in the sense that on the left is your history. I know on Copilot they have it on the right, and then there's this whole dark theme going on, right? But one thing that they do have that Copilot doesn't have is this deep think function, right? So we will be exploring that in a little bit. Compared to ChatGPT. ChatGPT also has it right now. It's this reason button. So I think it just uses more tokens. I'm not too sure what's happening on the technical side, but it does, I think, produce a more robust answer, something longer, something more researched, pretty much. And compared to Copilot, Copilot doesn't have anything like that. This is the cloud version, the M365 version, by the way. So still nothing like that, right? Even in the premium version. So something simple. How do I make chicken rice? It's gonna pop out exactly how you think it is. So give it a second to run. Okay, yeah, it gives you the ingredients. How do you prepare chicken? How do you prepare the rice? While this is running, I'm actually going to pop in the exact same prompt down to ChatGPT and onto Copilot. Let's take a look. Right? Yeah, gives you a very categorized answer, right? Ingredients, steps, optional stuff. I'm kind of impressed already. Yeah, I see extra tips too, which is something I like to see from DeepSeek is that, it gives you something extra. And man, ChatGPT, I want a chicken rice. Yeah, and it had to ask for it has to ask for a little bit of clarification. So what DeepSeek did is that it jumped the fence first, right? And ChatGPT, it waited for us to give us a yes, Hainanese chicken rice. Let's see what okay, Copilot's got pretty much the same thing, ingredients, rice, nothing optional. And how do you make this? Serve. There's no tips at the bottom, right? So uh, that's one con when we are looking at Copilot over DeepSeek. But I was hoping that Copilot would give us whatchamacallit, would give us sources, but not this time, I suppose. Yeah, people were wondering if Copilot, because Copilot and ChatGPT, if you know that ChatGPT sometimes does this. Copilot usually gives you the sources. It comes down like, uh, tell me about what's something recent. Oh, today, I don't know if you guys saw the news yesterday, but Sam Altman, who was the big head of OpenAI back in the day, was responding to this claim from, not claim, it was like this offer from Elon Musk wanting to buy, I think, OpenAI for like 97 billion or something. So, and he was thinking it's absurd. So let me ask, yeah, Elon Musk offering to buy OpenAI. Let's see if it has because I know ChatGPT uses current information, right? Yeah, 97 billion. This is something from yesterday, by the way, and it does give you all these sort of sources. So I like to see that, right? If I use this exact same prompt, back in ChatGPT and back in DeepSeek. Let's take a look. Okay, yeah. Oh, this gives you sources. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. They even give us a video to look at. Very nice, right? What I think about this news with OpenAI trying to be bought out by Elon Musk. Monopoly is not a good thing usually. You don't want all of the technology being hoarded out by one company. So hopefully this just a little bit of buzz in the news that doesn't go much. But let's take a look at the DeepSeek side. So compared to how they had it with Copilot, back here with ChatGPT, of course, one thing I do like is that it's more categorized. It's easier to read when there's headers and like lists, right? So but you see, this is the issue. I don't think DeepSeek is using current information, right? So while this is very nicely categorized, it does not know of this whole news that just happened yesterday, pretty much. But it does give us a whole like background on what OpenAI is, how Elon Musk stepped down from OpenAI's board of directors, and why would Musk offer to buy OpenAI? But this just like theory crafting, right? They didn't really know what happened yesterday. So yeah, they didn't have any sources, I suppose. But funny thing is if you ask it, it will give you. So it's a two-step process for DeepSeek, which is one con. Yeah, okay. His training data only goes up to October 2023. Yeah, it gives you sources, but nothing too current, right? October 2023 is kind of like, I can't remember what was the cutoff for the old models of ChatGPT, but yeah. So DeepSeek not very current, but it is very robust in answer, right? Gives you recommendations, what are things you can be searching for, example sources. Yeah.
Greg,
Uh-huh.
there's a button at the bottom with the globe and search. I think you can click on that. It will go out to the internet to search. Yeah.
Okay. Let's try that.
Yeah. Run it
Let me
again. See how it
copy
goes.
this in. Let's take a look. Yeah, thanks, no? So let's see if we can use the deep think function on this. Okay, so it looks like it's found results. I click on that. You'll see that the sources that it's combing through. And you see 11 February, which was yesterday. It is news from yesterday. Yeah, 97 billion, that looks right. Lots of sources too, and it's in this annotated format, right? Categorized, I like to see that. And yeah, it looks right. Talking about the bid, the response, the legal side, lots of stuff. Yeah, the thing with DeepSeek is that it produces stuff even if you don't ask for it, which is, it saves time if you're looking to ask follow-up questions. Yeah, very nice. But, yeah, what's next? What's in the future? A conclusion, if you're not looking to read all of that, you just want a TLDR, very succinct. I like it. But one more thing I think we can test is this reasoning thing. Anybody got an example prompt maybe? I'll take one from the crowd to test our reasoning function. If we don't have anything, let's see. Think before responding. Let's see.
What sort of question do you want? You want ChatGPT and DeepSeek to maybe analyze whether the value of OpenAI is worth 97 billion?
Yeah, sure. Let's do this. Whether or not OpenAI is worth 97 billion as bid by Elon Musk. And then reason Okay. While this is running, also pop it into DeepSeek or the deepthink function. Okay. I think this function takes a little bit to run. Okay, it took 8 seconds, not very long. So, okay, so this is what it came up with. Okay, AI models, intellectual property. Okay, I don't think it gives us any specific like dollar value, but it does give us an idea of where the money would be going into, right? The competition, yep, profit. So when we're using the reasoning function, I like that the ChatGPT is also using this categorized method, right? Instead of having just a block of text. It's kind of hard to read. Yeah, conclusion for, depending on what kind of investors you are in the tech market. I am interested to see if we pop the same the same thing, but without the reasoning button. So let's take a look. But while that's running, let's see what DeepSeek is doing. Well, DeepSeek is still running. Yeah, but it doesn't have a call it. It doesn't have the same categorized like sort of response, which is a shame. Oh wait, never mind. Okay, so apparently this is its thought of like thinking process, right? Huh. I've never seen this like done before. So it goes from, okay, so this is what the user is looking for. So we'll look at this sort of source, that sort of source. What can we pull out from these sources? A lot of dollar value estimations, which I like to see for this sort of prompting. And it puts together all the stuff, and this is the dollar values for the projected valuations, all the strategic stuff, all the legal stuff. And from that, they took all of this information and put it into the categorized format, which is wow. Right. Sources too. I love to see that. And yeah, legal stuff, strategic value, financials, and the conclusion, risks. And they do have conclusions on undervaluation. It could be high. It's definitely higher than 97 billion due to SoftBank actually valuing it at 300 billion. Yeah, cool stuff. But let me try to run it without deep think, see what it comes up with. Okay, back to ChatGPT. Yeah, nothing to boast about. 3 paragraphs. There are some sources, but yeah, undervalued based on its latest valuation of 157. But it's not very in depth compared to what we see with what we saw earlier with the reasoning function, right? A whole plethora of analysis in this categorized format. But when we look back at DeepSeek, it's still, it uses the same categorized like sort of format, but doesn't have that same train of thought being put up at the top. But still with the sources, and I am interested to see what's actually different from this. It looks a little bit shorter, right? It's like for each point, for each thing in the list, they do have a few bullet points. What's the analysis? A brief conclusion. But when we compare it back to what they had earlier, for each bullet points, they actually have a whole thing like explained, right, with its own sources within its whole, like these bullet points. So definitely do check it out. I do think this deep thing could be very good for people who are doing research, especially if you're in finance. Would be a good heads up without you needing to plug in the numbers yourself. So I do think that this deep thing could be a very good game changer, a very big game changer compared to what is offered within this reasoning function that ChatGPT have. And of course, Copilot doesn't have anything like this, which is a shame. So let me go back to the slides real quick. Any
Right.
questions? Yeah.
Right. If you look at the chat window, I've just pasted a screen capture of the free Copilot. It actually has a button for think deeper.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So It's weird that the oh, it's not loading yet. Oh, here it is. Oh, it does, huh?
Right, yeah. So
Let
I
me see if I
think
can.
something available in the free version. I'm just curious why in the M365 version it doesn't have that.
Yeah. I'm trying to see if there's any buttons to prompt it, but not really, huh? Let me see if I can switch back to the
Yeah, you can have a look. You can run another instance with a free version, and you see it right at the bottom.
Yeah.
I noticed you have to turn on anything specific. It just seems to just come on.
Oh, no, it's Copilot. Copilot. Okay, there it is. Let's take a look. Let me log in with my private account. Let me stop sharing my screen a bit. I'm gonna log in because I was on the company account. Okay. Yeah, for some reason it's not letting me, but I can use the built-in version of Copilot, I think. Give me a second. Huh. Here, let me share my screen real quick.
I think, Noel, it is country by country specific. I just saw in my login, it is still not activated in the personal.
Yeah, I'm not sure why. But over here, nothing to.
Sign in. You need to sign in.
Let me try signing in. Okay, let me stop sharing for a second. Okay. Oh yeah, feel free to.
You see this?
Yeah. Maybe see if we can put in the same prompt on the
It's OpenAI worth 97 billion.
Okay.
You see the icon, the animation?
Yeah. It's like it's thinking about it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it's still using this sort of like paragraph-based response, but it is giving way longer of a response than, Copilot usual, not Copilot, yeah, Copilot usual like 3-paragraph limit. But yeah. And I see that they have sources, I think. Was it? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, these are like, okay.
Suggestions.
It's for follow-up suggestions, yeah. I just think that the function they had back in DeepSeek where they show the train of thought, what sort of information they're pulling off from which sources, it's like, wow. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, thanks, no. Okay.
Go for it.
Yeah. But personally, I think that Elon Musk's statement on bidding for OpenAI and 97 million is like it's just to bring down the public image of the company. Just my 2 cents. Yeah. Oh, but it doesn't really say that it's undervalued, huh? In the normal response. Yeah, compared to the 2 times that we use the thinking function. Okay, yeah. Okay.
All right, go ahead. Back to you.
Okay, no, thanks, no. Yeah, just I think that Copilot and ChatGPT can usually use a tip or two from DeepSeek. But let me bring it back to my presentation.
That's the whole idea of competition, right? Competition lives the game, right? And everyone's got to come along and live the game.
Yeah, definitely. Without competition, you won't see improvement. That's for sure. Especially, going back to how Elon Musk wanted to bid for OpenAI. Imagine if it succeeds, right?
Hmm.
And if we have a whole monopoly on AI, it's like we're gonna have a stagnation in the development of this technology. So, okay, let me go to the next slide real quick. Okay, yeah, actually, I want to share this article, which actually goes deeper into what sort of stuff we can be looking at, translation wise, history wise, problem solving, coding. But I think we're running out of time. We got 8 minutes on the clock, so I'm gonna save this for the next session. But in the meantime, I'm gonna share a few of the news related to DeepSeek, which of course earlier I did mention that Nvidia stocks plummeted right after everybody got to check out this new thing, which was DeepSeek, right? It dropped a whole 17% when the markets opened, which, as I said, is because of the implications that DeepSeek stated, in which AI training is just not as expensive as it seems, right? They're able to do this whole setup with just a fraction of the cost that it took for OpenAI to build ChatGPT, for example, right? And of course, it also affected other tech firms. I think people just, swayed a bit of their confidence in the U.S. tech market. And something that and this market analyst said that, if you suddenly get this low-cost AI model, it's going to raise concerns over the profits of its rivals, right? So if you have a competition who is uh, making this pretty much the same solution for just a fraction of the cost, right? And yeah, see, it raises questions about the future of America's AI dominance, which is true. With what we've seen so far in DeepSeek's responses compared to ChatGPT and Copilot, it is, I would say, a step ahead, even, right, in the formatting of its responses, for example. But yeah, they do still have some things to work on. For example, I don't think DeepSeek can produce images yet, so it's still kind of limited in its modality. But the comprehension, the complexity in its base responses, just using text alone, it's very impressive to look at, right? And so, oh, did I close that? Oh no, it's still over here. Give me a second. Frozen a little bit. Yeah, so a little bit more. DeepSeek is actually limiting the access to our AI model because a lot of people are trying it out, and it is training our capacity. So if you want to try it out with its full capabilities today, I do recommend you look into it before they dumb down the capabilities, like what we are actually seeing with Copilot nowadays. For some reason, I do think that Copilot is suffering from the same concerns, which is that they do have too many users. Now Copilot is also loaded into your Windows device, if you're using a Windows device. So yeah, there's also concerns with DeepSeek was using NVIDIA chips to train their AI, which China does have a restriction from using AI. I think, yeah, US based. Yeah, if they're thinking if they're bringing it into Singapore instead. So very interesting stuff.
So
I
good
also
news,
do. Uh-huh.
good news, Greg.
Yeah.
I think with DeepSeek being open source, I don't think we will have as much a concern because you can actually download it from open source and run it from your own machine. So in our next
Mm-hmm.
session, I've actually got someone coming in to show us how we can download DeepSeek from GitHub and all that and
Yeah.
running it on your own machine. So
Yeah, I would love to
yeah,
see that.
you don't have a problem with capacity and all that, right? Depending on the DeepSeek service.
Yeah. That's actually a very good segue to the next thing I want to talk about. But 4 minutes on the clock. Uh, yeah, I think we'll have to save it for the next thing. But let me see if there's anything I can share it. Running it locally. Well, yeah, good thing we're gonna have a. I'm not a very technical guy. I can't really tell you how do I set up DeepSeek locally, but it does require quite a beefy setup. If I'm not wrong, it's like minimum 16 to 32 gigs of RAM. It's like my laptop's only 4 gigs. I can't show you that. So yeah, a little bit of recap for today. We did show a little bit on the progression in AI, how it was back when Copilot just debuted 2022. Will Smith eating spaghetti. It was a whole janky thing, and they were able to make it work here in 2025. We did share a little bit on DeepSeek. What is it? The newest contender in the chat-based AI generation AI tool, and how it's seemingly a leap ahead of the others. Right, for now, until the other tools do catch up, which we'll see within the next coming few months. So I do want to show this, which is our other TTT session, but more focused on Copilot. It happens a day usually before my own session, which is AI is fun. I have these on Wednesdays. Ridwan, the guy who is spearheading this, has it on Tuesdays, which is the first session was yesterday for 2025, and the next one is on the 25th of February. I'll also be joining that one, so do join us. That's a PM session, so during dinner time, if you you're looking forward to spare some time, do join us. We'll be talking about the latest and greatest in Copilot. All right. And yeah, thanks for joining us. We do upload everything into YouTube. We do have our own channels, including today's session. We will be uploading into it, and I will be sharing the link after the recording ends. So yeah, anybody got any concerns, any questions?
All good, all good. Thank you,
Good.
Greg. It was very simple and easy for everyone to pick up. Thank you.
No, thank you for coming. Yeah. Yeah, my greatest motivation is being able to share it to all of you. So yeah, I'm gonna stop sharing right here. And yeah, thank you for coming, everyone. Do come for our session 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, thank you, everyone.
Thank
Thanks for
you.
coming.
Thank you. Thanks. Thank you,
Thank
Ian.
you,
Everyone. Bye.
Bye.
thank you, guys.
That's great. Thanks, Ian.
Thank you, guys. I'm gonna end the call. So see you guys.